Hey everyone, back for another week. Again, I'm late on my blog because I am feeling a little under the weather and I have so much work in university, so I'm just not finding time to relax, and so that's something that I definitely need to work on. I had dedicated this week to talking about physical activity and diabetes, and so for myself, I am not as physically active as I should be. I do take the time to take stairs, and I do a lot of walking, but I don't have set out times to exercise, so I need to be going to the gym a little bit more, and these are the reasons why. Taken from the Canadian Diabetes Association website. They talk about the short-term and the long-term benefits of exercising with type 1 diabetes. So the short-term benefits are lowers your blood sugar within 1 hour, gives you more energy and strength during the day, decreases stress, anxiety, and fatigue, improves relaxation and sleep, improves confidence and well-being, and lets you have fun and involve family and friends. The long-term benefits, improved glucose sugar control, helps maintain or lose weight. It helps with lowering blood pressure. It gives you stronger bones and muscles, and lowers the risk of diabetes complications such as eye, heart, and kidney disease, and improves your overall quality of life. So those are all very important to have for long-term health with type 1 diabetes, as well as type 2 diabetes, and as well anybody at all, really. So those are things to think about. That is something that I need to do a little more often. I definitely don't exercise as much as I should. I also wanted to give mention to a blog post that somebody had sent to me talking about diabetes. It's from the Thoughtcatelog, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it circulate Facebook sometimes. There's always some really interesting articles on it, and this one is just talking about his brother who has type 1 diabetes. And so I'm just going to read an excerpt from it, and then I wanted to read a little bit more about things that you should know about people with type 1 diabetes. So he says, instead of jumping out of bed and going about his day without consideration, he reaches for his blood sugar tester. He pricks his finger and waits for the reading that will determine his morning. Then he has breakfast and injects himself with insulin that keeps him alive. And as he goes about his day, he repeats the same routine, injecting himself another 3 times, balancing his meals, his blood sugar levels, his activity, his life. And then before he goes to sleep at night, he checks his blood, eats again if he has to, and hopes his levels don't drop so low through the night that he slips into a hypoglycemic coma. And these are just the daily challenges. In the future, he'll face other associated health challenges too scary to consider. Yet despite all this, we know this disease will never define him. He won't allow it to. When my friend had sent that to me, I was just it was just the perfect timing. I just really enjoyed reading that, and it just kind of gave me a little bit of hope, because this was when I first started vlogging, and I'm not an expert at all, so I just enjoyed understanding and knowing that I am an expert of my own body and myself, and I've mentioned that in each of my videos so far. And so these are things that he said to consider about people with type 1 diabetes. There is nothing they could have done to prevent it. Type 1 diabetes is not the same as type 2 diabetes. They may have just been diagnosed, or they may have had it for years. Type 1 diabetes can strike at any age. If they are a child, their parents would have spent last night and every night before that waking up every couple of hours to test their blood sugar levels. And if they are older, their parents are probably still waking up every couple of hours worried about their blood sugar levels. If you see them stumbling, confused, or finding it hard to speak, please help. They haven't been drinking, they are experiencing serious and life-threatening hypoglycemia, and they need urgent medical attention. This one strikes a little bit not home for me because I didn't actually know the person, but I'd heard a story about a man that was in a bar and he was stumbling around and slurring his words, and they ended up kicking him out of the bar, and he was found dead the next morning in the back alley because he was actually having low blood sugar, and nobody thought to help him because they just thought that he was drunk. And so when I compare low blood sugars to being drunk, there definitely are some qualities that are similar. So the slurring of the words and the dizziness and the stumbling. So those are definitely things to consider when dealing with somebody that you think might be drunk. Also, the insulin they inject up to 4 times a day is not a cure. It keeps them alive, but it doesn't mean an end to the disease, and it doesn't prevent the possibility of the disease's serious side effects. There are 1 of 3 million Americans and millions more around the world who face type 1 diabetes every day. They can't have a holiday from type 1 diabetes. It's there every second of every day. They have become mathematicians, dietitians, nurses, and are always super organized. Life is a constant balancing act. And they are really braver than brave. So I just hope that helps somebody out there as much as it's helped me. I don't know. Those are things that I do already know, but just reading them from a perspective of somebody who doesn't have type 1 diabetes kind of helps. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you next week with my next video.